Today we're just going to have a look in a little more detail at your handstand shoulder taps and thigh taps. Okay, so obviously these are two exercises that come up quite a lot, mainly because they're very versatile exercises. Okay, but obviously we want to make sure that you're doing them correctly so that you're getting as much benefit to doing them as possible. Okay, so both exercises obviously have a similar kind of focus. The first of which being focusing on that handstand position and being chest facing the wall. It means that you can't quite get away with as much. All right, so when we do like a back facing the wall handstand hold, it's a lot easier to get away with having that arch in your lower back, which isn't necessarily what we want, and we don't necessarily want to teach your body to spend too much time in that position, because obviously when we do something like say with a barbell overhead, all right, that's not an optimal position and it's going to put a lot of pressure on your lower back. Okay, so obviously by going the chest facing the wall, if you do arch your lower back too much, then you're going to feel like you're getting pulled away from the wall, so it's going to be quite a good cue to help you straighten up. All right, so when you're doing it, you really want to focus on obviously drawing your ribs down, engaging your core so that you're maintaining that kind of neutral spine position as opposed to letting your back start to extend. Obviously if your shoulder mobility is a little bit limited, then you're going to find that difficult. Okay, but an easy way to tell is if you're in a not so good position, if you start to feel pressure in your lower back. Okay, if you feel that pressure, that tends to mean that your lower back's arching quite a bit, so obviously that should be a good cue for you to try and straighten that up as much as you can based on your shoulder mobility. Okay, obviously the next kind of benefit of the exercise is the transfer that it has over into your handstand walks. Okay, so obviously when you do your handstand walks, we're not necessarily lifting your hands up as high as what we're doing in the shoulder taps or the thigh taps. Okay, but the main kind of purpose of these exercises is to get you comfortable with that weight transfer. Okay, so we're talking about weight transfer, we're talking about the movement of your hips from side to side, so that when you bring one hand off the floor, you're shifting your weight through your hips over to the hand that's on the ground. Okay, and obviously that's going to teach you the same kind of movement pattern as what you're going to do on a handstand walk, because obviously if you don't shift your hips, then you're going to feel like you're falling. Obviously on these exercises it's much more exaggerated than what it's going to be on a handstand walk, but that's okay, because we're just trying to get you comfortable with those movement patterns, build that confidence, and obviously build that strength as well, so that when you do start walking on your hands, or when when we're looking for that transfer over into the movement, it should feel a little bit more comfortable. Okay, and then obviously the next benefit, as I'm sure any of you who've done them with any kind of volume have felt, is obviously the strength and endurance that it helps to build in your shoulders and triceps. Okay, obviously again when you're doing your handstand walk, you're going to be accumulating quite a bit of fatigue. Okay, so these are quite a good controlled way to again accumulate that fatigue, but obviously without A, the risk of falling, and B, secondly having to think about that extra element of skill that's involved in a handstand walk. So in that sense, they're a great exercise for that too.